Is Coachella good? That's what I wanted to know before I attended my very first Coachella festival. Before heading down for weekend 2, the only things I had to pull from was the news that Frank Ocean was pulling out of the festival, an article that was basically titled "I'm Too Old for Coachella," and old Emma Chamberlain vlogs that I hoped still held to date.
I don't know how I'm supposed to survive another day.
But being in what I think is my prime, but what other people think is old as dirt, I was a little hesitant that I wasn't really gonna be making it through the entire weekend. And more importantly, have a good time. So, through the eyes of a 30-something-year-old guy who might have cared a little more about the outfits than the actual music, I will once and for all answer the question, is Coachella good? Now, before we go any further, good can mean many things, and let me clarify the intent of this video. Are we talking about good as in ethical? Because we can also weigh the idea that Coachella is the Chick-fil-A version of music festivals, or so I've heard around the water cooler. Are we weighing good as in affordable? Because the price of the ticket alone can also be the price of a round-trip ticket to Japan. And yes, that's as long as you get a good deal or fly Zip Air. Add that with the $20 burritos and the $15 styrofoam cup of beer, and you can basically get into business class. But let's just wrap it up and rate it as a good or bad experience for a young but not really youthful first time festival goer. Day 0. So day 0 consisted of the question, how are we going to get to Indio, the barren wasteland that holds this glorious festival? I assume that most people who actually attend Coachella live and travel from LA. It's closer, it's easier, and it's influencer infested. But being a NorCal native, I had to arrange other plans. Let's cut to how I was feeling before the drive down. Hello, we are gonna go to Coachella now. It's gonna be a long drive and I'm not looking super forward to it because I haven't done a road trip or anything in freaking a long time. I used to like drive down to Cal Poly for school and stuff, but that's not even halfway to where Coachella's at in Indio or wherever. So we're gonna make the best of it. I didn't have any coffee, that might be a mistake, but let's just get the hell down there. And honestly, that was one of the worst drives that I've ever done in my entire life. I feel like from the Bay Area to LA and back is a very doable drive. But those extra 3 hours to get to Indio was literally the most painful. Also, passing through the poppy fields during super bloom with massive hay fever, that's not it, fam. Some people may feel a sense of accomplishment when they arrive at a new destination, but honestly, this is how I felt. Hello there, quick update. So we made it. The drive was awful, like god awful. It took so long. The Bay Area to, where are we? Indio? Don't recommend. Not the best trip. I'm tired as hell. The Airbnb is pretty nice. I'll take a few videos and stuff before everyone gets here. And we're going into day 1, which is tomorrow. Hella tired. I don't know. We'll see how this all goes. But I'm hoping for the best. Just gotta stay open-minded. I'm old, but I'm here for it, so... And that's probably one of the last talking videos that you're going to be getting throughout the festival. Day 1. Let's preface by saying day 1 was horrible. I do have to say, thank God we got an Airbnb. I feel like if we actually did camp, it would have been probably the worst experience ever. If you're an experienced camper or just young and stupid, I feel like it's very doable. But even still, it's the desert, so I would say be prepared for the worst. In any case, I was just unprepared for what the festival would hold. I got to the festival via bus around 2 p.m. and learned very quickly that that was a mistake. Now, the bus pass itself was probably the best investment of the whole trip. If you don't have the bus pass, you're either gonna be Ubering or driving to the venue, and you're gonna get dropped off probably a mile and a half outside the venue, so you're still gonna be walking most of the way there. But I was super grateful that the bus drops us off super close to the entrance. 2 p.m. was also peak heat, and I quickly became SpongeBob whenever he's out of water.
It's no use, we'll never find the rare desert sandwich.
Also, why the hell did I think that wearing black was a good idea? I have no clue. Still, I thought it looked pretty good. With no one in the day 1 lineup that I felt I really needed to see besides Calvin Harris, and I just couldn't hang that long, and with all the personnel saying, "It's a marathon, not a race," I called it an early day, which was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. Day 2? Blackpink. That was the goal of the day. If I'm not seeing the headliner, then why the hell did I even come? Looking back at day 1, I probably was more calorie starved than actually dehydrated frustrated because I chose not to buy the $18 chicken strips. Yes, the foodstagrammers and other influencers say that the Coachella food is bomb, but at what price? Not at the price I'm willing to pay for it. Coincidentally, the gods blessed me by giving us housemates that were also professional chefs. How the hell that happened? Let's just call it fate. But I made sure to calorie bulk before heading to the venue a little later this time. I would say unless you're super desperate to see an earlier act, the best time to actually go is around 3 or 4 because right after that is when it starts cooling off. And it still gave us plenty of time to see a lot of different acts like Rosalia, Boy Genius, Blackpink of course, as well as so many others. Many of the acts you're not gonna see in this video because I decided to stop filming and actually have fun, which was very different from my day 1 experience. Day 3! So after a shitty day 1 and an amazing day 2, I wanted to end day 3 with a bang. With the goal of seeing Porterset, even though it was a little earlier in the day, we headed out to get to the venue around 3. It was hot, but we were determined to risk the heat for good music. And while I was sweating out my ass crack and got a mild sunburn, it was 100% worth it. The set was amazing, one of the highlights of the whole weekend in my opinion, and I was wearing what I thought was one of my best outfits of the weekend, and it kept me a lot cooler than the red and black situation that I had on day 1. AKA cheers to not getting KO'd by the elements of the desert. And with another great lineup of seeing Jackson Wang, Jai Wolf, Blink-182, and Skrillex, I thought it was one of the most and least memorable days of the whole festival. AKA it was the best. So all of this leads back to the question, is Coachella good? From my experience, yes. But I do think you have to weigh a few things. Number 1, expectations. AKA, I had none. I went in with 0 expectations, which made the bad days manageable and the good days extraordinary. And I think in any situation, if your expectations are too high, you're just waiting to get disappointed. Number 2, planning. Yes, if we didn't have the Airbnb, bus passes, and other things planned out, I don't think it would have turned out as good as it actually did. I know that making plans is not everyone's forte, and a lot of people just don't want to take the responsibility to actually do it, but things go so much smoother if you have a group that actually plans things out. To be fair, YOLOing can be very fun, but I can't see it working very well with Coachella at least. And finally, number 3, the people. I could have never done it alone, and I've never really had a rave fam or festival group that I've felt comfortable going to festivals with until basically this opportunity came up. So I feel like you really need to take the time and pick the people that you know aren't going to cause a lot of drama, and people who are just kind, easygoing, and are willing to do things on their own as well. Now, would I do it again? Possibly. If the lineup was really good and I had a solid group of people to go with, then I would consider going again. But let's be real, that drive was brutal. And I think you do need to be in a situation financially in order to afford a lot of the luxuries to make Coachella a good experience. Nevertheless, next year is EDC, so we'll have to wait to see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this video helps all you Coachella going wannabes or whoever is a little bit in a situation where they don't know if Coachella is the right festival for them. But hey, there's a first time for everything, right? Make sure to like the video and support the channel. It really helps. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.